behind it. Remember this?
Good times, good times.
Dude, good times, man.
me and my boy Aaron.
Yeah. The keto butter, I think. Is that one?
Yeah, keto, but he actually moved down to San Antonio. So he's down in San Antonio, and he's changed his business from keto butter to the rental, like the buying homes and renting them out type of thing. Successful with that. So I was like, hey.
You also stay in touch?
Oh yeah, we talk like a lot more.
Man, I should have invited him as well. Like all three of us can just catch up and.
Oh, see, you know what? While we're on this call, I'm gonna text me. What are you doing?
Dude, let's do it. Send him a link. I'm gonna make my drink. So I pureed some mango. Oh wait, I was supposed to put the ice on the cup. What am I doing? Yeah, because I remember texting him like a few months ago. I was like, I finally finished his sample. This is delicious. Where can I get more?
All right. Such a tease, man. Just you hooked, and they're like, oh, I can't help you anymore.
Yeah.
Let me give him a call. You mind if I give him a call real quick?
Oh, go for it, man. Take your time.
Give me answers.
Nope. Shit. This isn't working. Okay. I guess I'm not drinking tonic water.
Okay.
Well, have carb. You didn't pick up?
Nah.
That's fine. We'll have fun either way. What you got?
So I'm making an inverted old fashioned. So I'm working on a rework today. So I'm like, I just bring my stuff in. And I was debating if I was going to drink. So one of my employees, as a thank you for hiring him, he bought me some Macallan. And I'm like, but I'm not a Scotch
Macallan?
person. Yeah. So he bought it, and I'm like, I'm not a Scotch person, though, so I don't know how I feel about that. So I was like, but I got this really cool. I remember you saying, hey, you can find something local and drink it, then that'd be dope. I was like, I do have something dope. And it was a batch one production of this new rye that came out. It's made here in Nevada. And it's called Frayed Ranch. So super cool bottle. It's called Frayed Ranch. So it's actually made up north. And I got this. They gave it to me at some event. I was speaking about technology and everything else. They gave it to me. I was like, dope. I probably never open it. And then just like, I remember what you asked. I was like, I can open it for this and have it.
Yeah.
This is my second time drinking it today. I was on a call earlier, and I was like, I'm gonna open this up right now. Go ahead, have it.
Were you on call with a customer and you were just drinking?
No, you can say that. This was a representative from the Phoenix Suns. I'm trying to change the world one person at a time. So
take over the world.
Pitch them because I'm like, hey, y'all have a young team, and the way that they're playing right now, on and off, they might not in the team. So what's life looking like after for them?
Yeah.
And that was the case.
Which I got noticed your bunker and your WeWork. I got this yesterday.
Oh, nice.
So shout out to Anthony. My first challenge coin, hopefully not the last. And no, I love you guys. I love the stuff that you guys do. I love your mission. I feel like I'm being redundant at this point because I keep saying it. But you guys are always a fun crowd to hang out with. Bunker. And what I'm really excited, can you tell me, since we last met, there wasn't a Vegas BunkerLabs. I know we talked about it, and what have you done since then? And I'd love to learn about how you got into coding. Was that something that you learned in the military, or where did you started this interest in this field?
Yeah, so to answer your first question about Bunker, pretty much today we have a home, right? I think when we met, there was a talk of, hey, we should send up this chapter, what it looked like, how would people embrace it, that kind of thing. And really, I'm an ambassador that deals with the ecosystem here, so I deal with all our politicians and everything else. So I basically started having those conversations and getting people engaged. Today, we were working out at WeWork. This is actually the bigger one right downtown. Like if I could have showed you the view, which I don't know if I can turn my camera and show you the
Good.
view. I'm gonna try because it's really nice. But the view for this is the stadium that they just built is right there. And the strip is right over here. We're on the 3rd floor, and that's how swagged out we are right now. So we have a home. We actually have our PR going on. So this is our first time running this. Since we set up, we have 7 businesses locally here, and then we actually work with Phoenix. So we have a business up there. So we're doing big things here. We actually made the dream a reality. So that's what
How long did it take you?
I think about a year and a half, like total, from me first coming on to getting this set up today. Year and a half of me trying to pioneer it, but I feel like it was worth it. I'm one of those people that give back to any community, not just a veteran community, but any community that needs help. And I got the power to do that and be the guy to do it out here.
That's awesome.
Your next question is how I entered technology.
The coding, yeah, the coding aspect of it.
So yeah, it's not something I learned in the military, but when I got out, transitioned out and everything, I did a couple different things actually. I thought I wanted to cook. I thought I wanted to be a chef. I thought I wanted to make amazing food, which, you know, I love doing, but I don't want to do it for the masses. I also, with my disabilities, my knee, my back, I can't do a lot of standing, but like I have so many things that prevented that. I have a friend, he's actually the co-founder of our new startup. He posted I joined Free Code Camp. I just want to check it out. And he posted inside the Facebook group for Las Vegas for Free Code Camp, hey, I want to give back. I'm in tech and I'm doing this and that. I want to start a small study group. I'm like, cool, because I want to get into tech. And he's a military vet. So
why did you want to get into tech?
So selfishly, so I have a cousin. She's down south. She lives in Atlanta, but she's starting this thing. But she's been in tech, and I watched her do a lot of machine learning. I'm like, that's very cool. In the military, you're around technology all the time, especially in the Air Force. That's just something there. So I knew technology was something that I wanted to dabble in, but I didn't know if it was for me because most people assume you got to have a 4-year degree or a PhD or something to do it. So I was one of those people. I'm like, I'm not smart enough to do this. And I just start reading. I went to YouTube University, started watching some videos, and then I started reading. And I'm like, there are a lot of people that's doing this. They don't have a degree. So my confidence built up and I wanted to explore it more. And I think the beauty of it is I want to do culinary because I wanted to create, but I also want to be able to give back. Like I want to start a restaurant and help youth and help people that's in the prison systems find their first jobs.
Yeah.
Same thing now, technology, especially within development, you're able to create. There's so much that you can do and you can inspire so many people from that. So I feel like the missions never change. I just stirred the path of what I was going to do. I want to be in the field, like right now, the pandemic. If I was in the food industry, I've probably been looking to do this because this is what everyone wanted to do. So I was ahead of the wave and I understand.
And you said you had family that was doing it. And
Yes. My cousin, she does it. Like she's a pioneer. Like when I say she's a pioneer, she was the first Black female CTO of Amazon acquired company. And she was the first Black female manager for Amazon. Like she holds these titles. She's first person in her family to get a PhD, first millionaire. Like she holds all these titles. And I'm like, man,
would you say that was an influence as well? Saw your cousin kill it.
To this day, we meet up once a month, like virtually, to just catch up or whatever. When I posted my lunch for CodeLegion, my new business, she went and shared it. And I kid you not, when she shared it, so many people from Amazon looked, they saw it, and they actually wanted to connect. And I had conversations with people from Amazon, from recruiters on up. So it was a cool feeling knowing that her success, like she's not selfish with it. Like she wants to see me succeed and she's doing what she can to help me.
And what I love about your story when we caught up last time is like you said, correct me if I'm wrong since it was a little bit and I'm drinking. Like you weren't looking for investors and you got investment.
Yeah,
that would be a great problem to have for everyone. See, I'm not even looking for money and people are trying to give me money. He
just heard me speak and he was like, I want to invest in you. I'm like,
why do they want to give you money? What's so special about Mario?
Right. And I find out, I guess that was the right place, right time, being an own person representing Southern Nevada within the leaders round table, knowing that I'm like, yo, I'm not CEO or CTO. I have no power here. I'm just this guy that wants to speak my mind and hold this politician and all these other CEOs, vice presidents accountable for not providing opportunities. And he liked what I said, and it's where we are today. $250,000
awesome.
later.
$250,000.
$250,000. That I really didn't, technically, I never even asked for anything. It was the weirdest thing. I never had to put together a pitch deck. Like, I was like, I'm being punked. I don't know how this is even possible. And it's opened up way more doors for me.
That's awesome, Mario. So if you were to give advice, it's like, I don't know. What advice would you give for all the people that are struggling?
I think there's two. Passion motivates people to want to help you.
Yeah.
And I'm very passionate. And that's why I'm somewhat successful. I'm not going to say I'm successful until I'm changing, making actual change, but people love my passion. The fact that I don't throw in the towel and give in things. And our platform is being built off of passion. The money's just an added bonus, but we asked the question, we have done this if we got money or we didn't. And the answer is, yeah, it probably would take a little bit longer, but we still would have did it. So we're in the right place.
You were still going to make it happen. I don't care if I get money now or later. It's going to happen.
Second piece is I'm very proactive, like never giving up. I live, and I think I told you this last time, is people can only tell me two things, yes or no. Either they want to work with me or they don't. And then how do I process that? I can pretty much stay cool and I move on to the next thing or start the relationship, whichever way. But you're going to get a lot of no's, just like in sales. You're going to get a lot of no's until you get that yeah. But when you get that yeah, that's how you're doing something right that's replicated now.
It's really interesting because the previous talk I did with this guy named John Albert Nicholas, and we shared how important it is to, one, be very vocal and selfish about what your goals and what you want to accomplish. And it could be selfish reasons for, in your case, trying to help the community and inspire the people around you. But it's really important to be vocal because then as you start sharing what you're passionate about, you start meeting these people who see what you're working on and want to be part of it. And it's really interesting because I was at this one event a while back at TechCrunch Disrupt, and it was in San Francisco, the largest, probably the global entrepreneurship event worldwide. And I felt like I could have got funding for a business that I didn't even have yet, just because I told people how I just enjoy learning, how I wanted to do something for the startup community. I didn't know what it was, but I was so passionate about supporting other passionate people, which is a very broad answer. But I just enjoyed helping people who really wanted something to happen for themselves as well. So I think that's great. And for you to first get validation, how did that feel for you? Do you feel like you were struggling for a little bit? Was it hard on your family? And you have kids?
Yeah, I got 4. So the pressure's always on. When I think when you have one kid, the pressure's already on. All right, in my case, I'm married with 4 kids. But I think it was stressful. All I can think about is there are tons of people in tech, but there is not a lot of people like me. When I say like me, I'm a young Black entrepreneur, broken military guy. I live in Vegas where we don't have a ton of technology around us, and there aren't people doing these same kind of things. And the struggle is you want to do something, you put y'all into it without knowing. Like, we're in Vegas, you're going to gamble regardless. I'm gambling for our livelihood. If I fail, then I fail my family. And that's a constant pressure. How do you process that? A couple of different ways. Like whiskey, it's always the best way. But I
this bottle right here.
This whole bottle right here. But I pretty much just keep moving forward. Like I said, if I start making change, then I'm gonna put more people like myself that wear my shoes. So I come from a couple of different backgrounds. Veterans, we can help more veterans enter tech, and we can do that kind of thing. And if I fail there, well, someone else is gonna pick it up because everyone wants to help a veteran. I'm a big supporter of Blacks in tech. So once again, I'm stepping out there and adding more pressure in to try to be the focal point for that. If I fail there, someone else is going to do that because diversity is also very important in tech. I guess I'm betting on things I know will win, whether I'm the person that's helping it win or someone else comes picks up from where I left.
It's like a higher purpose that you have, right?
Yeah. And set a good example for my kids. Like I said, one day, who knows? I may be mayor of Las Vegas, and then you be coming down and we be going to a game or something. I don't know. Or they'll be building a statue of me saying he really pivoted and helped put Nevada on the map for technology. My kids see the statue like my dad did that. But I think my biggest thing is knowing that no matter what I do, because I took on this challenge, I'm going to inspire people. And I think that's the biggest reward I can ask for, is having people know that I went in expecting nothing in return, but to change things for the long run for my kids.
And show your kids what persistence look like.
Oh yeah, my kids already show those traits too. My wife's we homeschool, and my wife's we're homeschooling. That's another battle, is try to get technology to school systems, but at the same time, we need to improve our school systems here. So we took our son out because they didn't know how to handle the change with the pandemic. And my son, he's in first grade, like according, but he's doing like second grade work. So I'm like, and he knows how to get out of things. Like, he's very persistent with things he wants. We have a deal as long as he does all his work this week. We're going to play laser tag tomorrow. I'm pretty sure once 12 o'clock hits, first question, are we still going to play laser tag? Yeah, let's go. Dad needs to break in.
Oh, that's awesome. I don't know if they have the same thing there in Vegas, but for us, like there's like these different tests that you can skip grades on. So that could be something your kid could probably skip like several grades and like 17 or 15 or 12 in college. That's
Yeah. So the only issue with that is then I gotta pay for his college. Like, I went to the military, no one paid for mine. So I'm like, my foot's pretty firm. Like, I'm not gonna pay for my kids' college because I had to go and earn my education that I never really took advantage of. Like, I didn't know. But if he's 12 and he does that, then I got to make sure I'm making a lot of money, because when he's 12, education is gonna probably be like hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. They gotta recuperate.
Or they could take your CodeLegion. So talk to me a little bit about CodeLegion. Is a coding boot camp.
So I hate the word boot camp, right?
Okay.
The reason that is because there's so many coding boot camps out there, and they're really focused on teaching people this foundation, but it's the same foundation no matter where you go. You go to New York, you're gonna see 6 different coding boot camps, and they're all gonna be teaching something similar.
Yeah.
They may change the approach, but they all have the same concept. And the issue with that is we're not teaching people to be developers. We're just teaching them the newest frameworks so that they can go out there and get a job. But it's hard to get a job when you have all these people from boot camps showcasing the same projects. They go through interviews and don't understand what's going on. So we're basically trying to provide an educational experience, which is different than what a boot camp does. We care about their growth, and we care that they understand. So yeah, they may learn something new, but we're focused on how they process the information, trying to make sure they can optimize what they're learning and go from there. Matt, he's a firm believer. He works at GitHub, and I want to do ABC. I'm like, that's cool. I never worked at GitHub, so I don't know what ABC is, but what I do know is GitHub is very ongoing for people educating themselves, and it's with you. And it took me a while to understand how they process stuff, but people actually go through a GitHub training, and GitHub ensures they understand what they're doing. Anyone can code. Not everyone understands what they're doing with their code. And that's what Matt is a bit like component of, is ensuring that people understand what they're doing. And Telegram's going up. Yeah, Telegram's this new thing too. Like, I never knew anything about it. I felt so dumb when I joined it.
How is it like learning new technologies?
So for me, I sometimes feel old. I'm always having to learn.
That's how I feel about Twitter. And I was like, I don't want to get on Twitter. And I was like, and this is what I realized too, is like, I remember as a kid thinking all these old people, why are they just like joining Facebook or LinkedIn? Then now I feel the same way about Twitter. And I was like, crap, like I need to change my mindset a little bit.
Actually, everything. Since I put on the CEO title,
Yeah.
I've been in LinkedIn a whole lot more. Like, I used to wake up and check my email in the morning. First thing I do now is check LinkedIn. Who's doing what? And it's amazing because I'm all like, my mindset has literally shifted. Like, now I'm doing things to change my habits. Like, I went I quit whiskey for about 3 weeks.
Oh.
I just had to go on that stop. I was like, I'm change some habits. And then about 3 weeks later, I was like, yeah, this is not going to be a long term.
This isn't long term. I need this.
My bar is missing me. But I always feel like I'm old. But like Telegram, I was like, how do you add? Like, how does someone know you're on Telegram? And it is a really good way of communicating with people. But now you have Clubhouse.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. I've been invited to Clubhouse like 12 times. Come to find out, I'm an Android user. I don't have an iPhone. I actually don't even own an iPad because I have my Mac. So I'm like, I don't need an iPad. I'm old school. I only need one device here. I can't be in Clubhouse because I don't have either one of those. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, it's time for me to throw out my Android and get an iPhone now. So I'm going back.
It's like missing out.
Oh yeah, FOMO is real for me. Like, it doesn't say that, but technology does that to people. But
Yeah.
one thing about it is Clubhouse is like fairly new, and that's a new technology, and people flock to it. TikTok, new technology that came out at the beginning
Are
of
you
the
on it too? Are you like dancing and
have my pride to think about. I wanted to do one. My wife's, oh, you should
Oh,
do that.
really?
All right, you set it up and you do a couple videos and I come chime in, and that's helped me out because she has not done anything, so I don't have to do it. But the day she does those videos, I'm gonna have to hop up on it and be on it because I made that promise. But
Or have your kids do it, and then you can just.
I'll see. So my oldest is 6. They don't. I don't agree with them having the concept. Like my son has a Nintendo Switch, but I'm like anything that can be had, like anything that has a camera associated to it. Like I have that fear when it comes to my kids, where I know a lot about technology and I know like the pros and cons. And I know how it can screw kids
How
up. So
scary it is. Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm not trying to go to jail no time soon. This is not the person to go to jail. So let's not have that. So we're gonna wait till maybe 10ish. And I started introducing him to like coding. I think his attention span is like he's smart, but I'm like, I don't want to have him on the brink of I'm one of those dads that go overboard. So I'm like, oh, you want to build things in Minecraft? Cool. And then I'm gonna start signing him up for every little thing. I'm gonna be coaching him. I want him to be a whiz, and I know I'm gonna do that to him. So I want him to have his childhood before I get a hold to him. So
Really?
sports, yeah. I had to start taking him to sports because I was like, man, I'm becoming one of those.
That must be hard, because I'm an impatient person. I was like, I feel like, man, you can read? All right, here's a dictionary. Finish.
Let's go. Yeah, one thing I can say too about having these kids is my patience. Like my wife would tell you, when I was younger, I was the most impatient person. Once my son was born, all of a sudden, oh, he's about to go and crawl, and the disappointment would come through. I'm like, oh, he's not gonna crawl.
It's like, wait, 1 month later, they're still on 4.
Right? Like my daughter, my youngest, she turns 1 this week, and we're teaching her to walk. And so last week I was like, oh, you're not walking. Come on now. The old Mario, let's go, let's walk. Put her on a walker, get on a pole, whatever. Today she took 6 steps. I'm like, oh, proud that moment. She's walking. But my patience kind of has grown, and I think it helped me become a better like CEO, especially when it comes down
to business.
Oh yeah, I have way more empathy now. You can talk with me about anything. I'm very open too. I tell my team like, yo, we are a team. There's no I in team, and I actually live by that. No matter how big we get, like I'm still gonna be down there socializing with the team. There's no like my title is just a title for people outside.
Yeah.
Within the company, I'm just Mario. And,
But tell me about, you said you're running for mayor.
I want to.
2024 Mario Mitchell. Is that goal?
My friends down too. Look, so the goal for that is win or lose. I want to be able to make an impact to show our community here in Las Vegas. You don't need a fancy 4-year degree. You don't have to be a millionaire. You don't have to be having lunches in the governor's office. You don't have to do all that to make a change within the community and run for office. I feel like a lot of our politicians here, and I don't want to make things political, but the majority of them don't look like me. And the one Black councilman that we do have, his area, his ward is literally, if you go back to 1920 when Vegas was the small little thing and African Americans first got here, that's how his ward looks. It hasn't been improved. There's no big businesses moving in there. It is the ideal situation for what people will consider like the hood or the ghetto. And it's not because the people make it that way, is because us as a society don't want to go. Like we choose not to put nice things there.
Yeah.
And I think that's up on the city to try to change that. And don't label it as an opportunity area where, hey, we're gonna give you a break to come move here. Like that shouldn't be the thing. You should want to uplift and build things and help build communities up. And it's just not something that they focus on. We focus more on what brings money in, which is tourism here in Vegas. I'm a fan of our school systems would be better if we put the focus on the people that live here. Because if you take care of your people that live here, then when it comes down to tourism, they're gonna have a much better, experience because we are taking care of them and they're taking care of the tourists that come here. It's like a full circle. but we have to want to give back to.
Yeah, and teaching people how to build opportunities for themselves that they can also use to impact the community.
Yeah, and my mom worked with 2 jobs when I was growing up, single mom and everything else, and she had 3 boys. And like I said, we never got Section 8, but we had food stamps and everything else. We lived in a shelter at one point, and the city at the time we were living in Minneapolis, they didn't provide a lot of support neither. That was like 15 years ago. But what
Yep.
I grown to realize is, if you are in a state of power and your voting population they aren't doing so well, you should have an interest in trying to help them do better. There's this guy I follow, Dan something, I can never remember his name, but I saw him on Twitter and I got him on LinkedIn too. And he
Oh,
was
really?
that went
You're on
from
Twitter?
I found him on Twitter in the tech community.
Yeah.
He went from like $1 million salary to like 75,000 to create more jobs and be able to continue paying his staff. I'm like, that is super cool to hear, because once again, if this man had a position of power within any city, that city would be doing 10 times better than any other city, because there won't be any opportunity areas. Every area will be the same and people can pick and choose. But I think we don't do enough to help uplift communities. Entrepreneurship is the best way to do that. I just read this book, The Overground Railroad. And it's an interesting book because it tells a history that I never knew, as in Blacks. Like, I got on audio because I do a lot of driving, so I got an audio book. But the entry into it is, I was in a car with my mom and dad, and the police pulled us over. This is back in the 1960s, Jim Crow days. I'm from the South, so I can understand that. The dad had a super nice car, and the police pulled him over. And the first thing they said is, whose car is this? And he was like, this is my boss's car. So he didn't take claim. I'm a driver. My wife, he didn't claim his wife. He was like, hey, and we're just going on business for my boss. And he had a chauffeur's hat in the back of the car. And that's when I realized, yeah, it was unsafe to travel on vacations, everything, as an African American.
Yeah.
And they had this book, the Green Book. That was actually the first piece of literature that showcased Black-owned businesses, like for Black entrepreneurship. And that's not something that we teach in our schools today. But you look at it, and it was created in Harlem by this guy, and it circulated. It had over 9,500 businesses in it. So Black-owned businesses, and then businesses that didn't label whites only. I'm like, this is a dope piece of literature that we don't talk about. But that inspired me to want to get rid of opportunity, because I'm like, opportunity zones, you're taking us back to Jim Crow days. You're saying is that thing that was said back then, and we're not going to uplift it. And you go to those areas, people feel unsafe in them. Once again, back in Jim Crow days, you didn't see people ride through certain neighborhoods because of the color of people's skin. So not much has changed since then. We're in 2021. We have all this stuff going on. So if I run for mayor, I'm not running, like I said, to win or lose, but I'm running because we need to
You just want to push that information out there, make people understand that this needs to change.
And once we get that change going in, I'm not really big into politics, and I didn't truly understand. People are like, oh, Barack Obama. Well, I voted for him because I was 18. I didn't know much. I was first time voting. I was like, I can vote. And it's God, it looks like me. Second go around, I actually did research. This election changed the way I viewed things, because I'm all like, oh, I didn't really have a preference. I'm like, whoever spoke my language. But Biden won. But the biggest take on that was his vice president. You've seen so many people stand in front of the TV on inauguration day with their kids. Hey, you can do this. Oh, because of color of her skin or whatever she's made up of, you can. And I'm like, that speaks wonders, because if I can do that same thing, win or lose, with people like, hey, that young man's doing it. And he's only 32, because I'd be 32 at that time. Then kids, you can do this. Or, hey, I'm going to try and run for office and make a change. And I think that's how change is made. Someone has to take a stand. And it's been like that throughout all of history for us. People have always made stands. One of my idols, Madam C.J. Walker, first Black woman millionaire. Once again, people like, oh, she's known for hair care products. Like, that's what y'all know her for. I know her because she's made change. Like, she became a millionaire and let it be known that anyone can become a millionaire. I was like, what more can you ask for? So that's my rant. I actually going off on things like that because my kids are growing up in America where change is happening daily. But, what labels it the right change and the wrong change? So I want to be a part of that right change forum and showcase that.
No, I think that's awesome because it goes into what you said earlier about, hey, I'm gonna start this business to show my kids that, like, against everything else, like, I'm pursuing something I'm passionate about, and I'm gonna try my best to make it happen. And I don't care whether I succeed or fail. I want you to know that if there's something else that you ever feel passionate about, give it your all. And at the same time, you'll meet the people that will just drop $250,000 on your lap. Sometimes it happens.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
And I think it's a great motivating story to tell, regardless of your political beliefs. The fact that we had a Black president and a Black vice president is like inspiring. Even if I don't care about their platform, the idea that I can even be at this level for myself.
Exactly. Yeah, man. Look, let's steer it back to what you had on topic. I was like, you let me go off on a rant, and then you mix it with whiskey. I'm like, yo, you gotta.
I don't have a script. I don't know what I don't know what this is about.
I see how you do this. You're like, hey guys, look, I'm gonna ask you a few questions. Hope you get drunk enough in the middle of this, and then like we're just gonna keep going.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep going. Did he text back?
No, Aaron never hit me back.
Oh, whatever. Screw him. I'm sorry if you're watching this. I'll just bleep that part out.
Which is cool though. I expected him to hit me back, but then I didn't. He probably hit me back later. And I'm like, you missed that opportunity, man. Opportunity.
Yeah. What are the worst bosses you've had?
Oh, I can actually say this. I'm gonna say the coding school I ran not long ago. Like I left them back in October. My boy Matt used to say I was bitter. I'm like, I'm not bitter, man. I'm telling you. So the difference between me and Matt is our skin color. So I worked at this nonprofit for the longest time, and I actually came in and they went to the profit zone. So they went from red to green. So when my original boss, when he left, I applied for his job. I'm like, yo, I've been doing it for this long. They passed me over because A, and I always say this, and I could be wrong, but either A, because I was too young, B, because they didn't have many Black directors on their staff at all. They only have one that's because he came with the company when they took it over. So it's not like they hired him. Or C, the fact that I didn't have a degree. One of those three things. They hired a lady and she knew nothing about technology. Now we're a coding school. She knew nothing about technology. She always say IT instead of development. Like just the worst person in the world. And the day I told her, no, I'm not going to do something because I'm doing 90% of the work, she has to do some work, especially if they're going to keep giving her pats on the back. She went downhill to the point to where when I said, oh, I'm leaving this company, she was happy. She was glad that, but she was by far one of the worst people that I worked with because I had the mentality of taking care of my team. And it was the opposite there. She was one of those people that I had the chance to interview her and she'd tell you what you want to hear just to get the job. But then when she gets the job, she's your boss now. So it was never the best situation because I think that company just never gave me the opportunity to showcase.
Show your worth.
And the worst part about it is they weren't here. They're based in the East Coast. So they weren't here to truly see what I was doing, my day-to-day, the stress, how the students and how I interact with students. And students love me. And I think everyone on the team out here in Vegas, they were shocked that I didn't get the job. They were like, we thought you were going to apply. I was like, I did. And then they gave me the sense that they weren't going to hire me. They literally told me in the midst of the interview, oh, well, program managers, they do really well in this company. I'm like, that's cool, but you understand how your program managers like are Black. Like, do you not think that we're worth the opportunity to be able to go up? And I've never really experienced the thing of having a good in-house person that can do the job and being passed over the job. You see that kind of thing in a bunch of different places, but when it happens to you,
yeah,
just, like, and I can agree now because I'm no longer there. I can agree with
and call them out.
Yeah, I can agree with Matt. He said I was bitter, and I did become bitter when they hired her on. I was like, I could have done a way better job. Like I was qualified and they hired me. And when she started treating me the way she was treating me, like because I didn't have that 4 degree, I wasn't whatever, like I wasn't worth the position I had. I'm like, whoa. And I never said no at work. I am, like I said, bound by my upbringing from the military. Like you just do the job, no matter how sucky it is. Like you just suck it up and do it. But when I told her no, that whole like weird relationship we had, because we really didn't have one, but we had a working one that was broken, just broke completely. She was like, I ain't dealing with this dude. I need him out of here. So she didn't bat an eye. Like it was so bad that she didn't even think about reaching out to me when I left.
And it's so unfortunate because this story is it's it's not uncommon for a lot of people. Look, I'm passionate about the mission that you created, this company that you created. I enjoy it. I'm giving it on my all, trying to figure out how to innovate and grow your company. But because you're not letting me do it, I guess I'm going to do my own thing. And then
Yep.
suddenly get a $250,000 check. Who is right, who is wrong. And it's
And
unfortunate because you have all these, like when I think about these small businesses that are starting to grow, I was like, you like making conscious effort and thinking, hey, you might have one person like that. Huh?
you see on video, Facebook Live, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, for ranch, my second go around. But some good stuff though. This is rye, so the bourbon probably way better. I don't know what like non-chilled filter. I don't know what that means, but you know.
But it's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Tequila
it up with
tequila. So I smoked this with hickory. So I put it in a decanter, smoked it up with some hickory wood. And I have a friend at work who does woodworking, so I'm taking all his wood chips. And then maybe I'll package it up and sell it for $10 each. I don't know. We'll see. What'd you say?
How does it feel to have a decanter?
Feels nice, I guess. Feels bougie.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
First got into drinking whiskey.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I started drinking whiskey because I started hanging out with the older generation out here.
Oh, it's old people drink.
Yeah, like literally, I felt out of place, but I felt like I needed to be drinking whiskey because this was the thing that you need to be drinking. Like that was the end thing. And as soon as I was like, oh, I really like bourbon. This is dope. I'm not a big fan of rye. It has to be but bourbon, dope. I was like, man. And I kept hinting to my wife, I want a decanter. Yeah, I just want people to walk in. Oh, you're a drinker. Yeah, I got that in the decanter there. And I think it was our anniversary. Yeah, it was our anniversary, our 10-year anniversary, and she got me a decanter. And the first thing I did was like, go to Trader Joe's, and I got 4 roses. And 4 roses, like very inexpensive. I got a nice decanter. I'm gonna put some cheap bourbon up in it because when people come over and they drink it, I don't want them drinking my good stuff.
Yeah.
So people come over, they think they're drinking good stuff. I'm like, yeah.
This might be an overshare because my friends are on Facebook, but what I do, I'm about to share something.
Right?
So you know how you can filter vodka? Take really cheap vodka, get a Brita filter, and filter it 4 times, and it's like the cleanest thing ever.
Yeah. Super
so I had a friend who I went over one time, and he had an empty Grey Goose bottle, and he was about to throw it away. And you probably know how the story ends. So anyone wants Grey Goose, you're more than welcome to have it.
Luckily, I don't drink vodka. I'm like, hey, where's the real stuff? Right?
Yeah.
So now your friends will be coming over. Yo, we don't want your trash Grey Goose.
No, probably. I was just like, you know what? It's perception is reality or something like that. So, hey, yeah, sure, go ahead. You're my best friend. You can have that.
Go get top shelf stuff.
Yeah, all for you.
Pause it. Trust me, I be that guy too. Like I have a lot of tequila, and that's I don't know. Like when I was in the military, I didn't drink as much. Like after the military, that's when I started experimenting with drinking. But nowadays, I think I'm coming to an age. I'm hitting 30 this year, so I'm coming to the age where I'm like, I just want to go out to a lounge and have a good drink. I'm actually thinking about this year. I don't smoke. I'm like, I'm gonna try a cigar. I'm gonna go to a whiskey bar. I'm gonna try a cigar.
Oh man, that $250,000 check just brought you up to another stage of life, man.
I don't know. My wife looks at me. She's like, I'm proud of you. I'm like, why? And she's like, because you are doing some things that you want to do. Jack Bosch, you can cook. I baked a cake last night because my aunt, she inspired me. She told me it was her birthday. She's like, I made this butter cake. I was like, I ain't had no butter cake in forever. You can't find that stuff here in Vegas. I'm from down south from Mississippi. We love everything in butter. Made this butter cake last night with this brown butter sauce on top of it. And my wife, it was funny. We got in a little like argument. I forgot what we were talking about. I think I said something stupid. And so she was mad. So I was like, cool. I'm just going to get her favorite wine. I'm going to take her this cake. and she was talking mad noise, like mad noise. Cut the cake, put it in her mouth, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, this is so good. I can't be mad at you no more." I was like, "Oh, so your men know how to bake? Then you can be out the cook if you make really good butter cake." The most unhealthiest things can be healthy for a relationship, I
Yeah.
say. So, but yeah,
Do you ever look back and just imagine what your life was back when you were still a kid with your brothers, single, and then look at where you are now?
yeah. So I got one of those supportive moms. Like my mom's one of those people where I went to the military. She supported every decision I made. She's like, "I'm so proud of you," and I told her, like, that's cool. But I always wondered where it would have been. But I think to this day I always want to be a positive influence for my brothers, and I wanted my mom to be proud of me. So I achieved both those goals because my brothers, one of them he's a year younger than me. My baby brother is 24, and they always say, "Oh yeah, you're doing this, you're doing that." Like they respect me. And my baby brother one year, I think he was maybe 17, so it's a few years ago. But he straight told me like, "Hey man, you been that father figure." I was like, "Oh no, I don't want to hear it. That's a responsibility. I don't want it."
Don't
Like,
tell me that, man.
where my life would have, where it would have been. And I actually can say, I'm pretty sure you didn't tag me in this. I'm pretty sure I'm safe until I share it with my wife. But my wife is probably one of those positive factors. If I didn't meet, I met her in high school. If I didn't meet her in high school, if I didn't decide to join the military, if I didn't decide to have decisions based off of me wanting to be this perfect husband, because my mom was single, I didn't know what that kind of looked like, but I had an idea from TV. If I didn't want to do all of that, I probably wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation with you. I'd probably be, doing something else. But I think coming up and not having as much as I wanted, I don't regret, because it made me a better person. Like now I can say, I know I want to work extra hard so my kids can have these opportunities, but I don't want to spoil them. But I want them to experience these opportunities and show them what good values are. So I look back and like, yeah, the struggle was tough. But I look at my brothers too, and we all chose different paths, but we're all doing things that we love. We have comfortable lives, and none of us are locked up in jail. None of us. And another thing is, we're all successful. My brother has like this YouTube thing. He started a car club out here. Like we just bought a Hellcat. I'm like, that's dope. And he's got a YouTube channel, and he has all this stuff going for him. And none of us have degrees, right? My mom, she's doing well. She has 2 degrees. She's not doing anything with them, but she has 2 degrees. And I think that was the onus for us to know we don't need school to be successful, right? You just got to have really good work ethic. And because of technology, the way that these big companies are assessing us, it's true. You don't have to have these degrees. You just have to have really good work ethic and be hungry enough to continue learning, because technology changes every single day. So we decide, hey, let's do a startup, and we're gonna focus on tech. We don't have to go and look for people with 10 years worth of experience or like 30 different PhDs. Like you got 30 different PhDs, you're probably a dinosaur anyway. But we can really say, hey, we're going to take a chance on you and give you an opportunity. I think technology, people don't, whether they believe it or not, technology is a platform that can give people opportunities to change their lives.
Levels the playing field.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If Facebook can hire a 13-year-old, I can hire a 45-year-old that's fresh out of the joint, but while he was in the joint, he was studying and learning to become a developer, because he knew when he got out, he wouldn't do that. Now it's up to me to say, I want to hire you on because of your skills. I don't care about your past. And I think we get hung up on that. Like all these big companies, they still want to do background checks. I'm like, if someone's coming to your company and you can see that they're a good person and they want to change your life, I don't care what happened to your past. Let's focus on how we're going to help better your future. And I think that's what everyone, politicians, big companies, they good at that.
What do you look for in your employees? Because part of it is you had this experience of working for people that didn't necessarily know your worth. And so now that you're building a company and you're hiring and growing people, what are you doing to cultivate a culture in your team and making sure that your employees feel like they're in a great place?
And I don't want to speak for them, but what I can say, what I did.
But I think I'm the shit.
I can say that. But one thing is, I want them to give me the same level of respect. So I give everyone respect. Like you hire people because they're doing a job that you may know how to do, but you don't want to do, or you don't have the time to do. but they're the same respect that they're going to give me as a CEO. I want to give them the same level of respect. So I'm there, like I said, titles mean nothing to me. We're going to come to this and we're going to send this interview. We go to know each other. Do you like how I operate? This is how I see the world. I want to help the community, et cetera, and vice versa. Like you don't have to like everything. I want you to be able to mimic some of the things I do, and I want to help you grow and achieve your goals, and vice versa. Like you're going to teach me some things that I don't know. This day and age, like I used to want to develop every single day. Now in this statue, I don't get to do that. And my buddy Matt told me, I think nowadays you like what development does for you. You don't really want to do it. I was like, no, challenge yourself to get back to development. But our instructors, we want them to want to learn and continue to grow. Don't come and say that you're the shit, everything. That's not the case. I don't want to hire you because you're too big headed, and you might not stick around. You're gonna do this job for maybe 3 months, and then someone's gonna offer you something better, more money, you're gonna leave. We want the people that want to grow. So we're investing in not only helping the business grow, but we want to help individuals grow. And vice versa. I love culture. I love food. You come at me and you're like, you feed me in an interview some stuff I never had, you got a job. You come at me with Italian food, you can make really good carbonara, you hands down, you got a raise. So you ain't got the job yet. I'm giving you a raise.
Oh, really? I can cook. I learned how to hack into my neighbors, into computers when I was a kid, just by watching YouTube University.
Yeah.
So
University, that is if people like I said, YouTube University is awesome. If you want to get into technology, YouTube is the way.
yeah.
That's step one. The best way to get into it is by building things. And I may be a hypocrite right now because I just don't have the time to invest in doing it. But when I get back into coding, the first thing I'm gonna do is go to YouTube. Second thing I'm gonna do is go to Matt because he's my director of education, my co-founder, and he does this day in, day out. But yeah, going back to the question is like, we build a culture where we want to ensure people know that we want to invest in their future. One thing is that we have limited like money that we brought in, but one thing that we put in there besides their salaries is benefits to keep them learning. So like we put in that little bit of money. Hey, we want to in every year we're gonna re-up it, but you have to use it. It's not like you're gonna use it and not have a choice.
And I think that's really smart because one of the things in which like my peers get frustrated on is, am I learning anymore in this job? And even if I'm not learning in my specific job or role, if Mario here is saying, I don't care what you want to learn, here's another bonus specifically for you to just pick up something new. I would imagine they really appreciate that too. And plus, if you're taking something you can bring it back to the business.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna get PMP certified, or I'm gonna get Scrum certified.
Yep. Dude, I'm gonna just say the name. I could say names up here. Like,
yeah, that's fine. This is so small. Eventually, if it gets big, then we'll see.
So I used to work the company that CodeStar ran. It's called Punch Code. It's run by the nonprofit Tech Impact. So I'm gonna start using Tech Impact sets in the company. Okay. It's crazy, but Tech Impact, I learned nothing from them. Like they invest in me growing. The one thing I can say they did for me is they were very hands off. Gave me the power to go out there and be a rogue agent and try to build this tech community.
Yeah.
And I give credit because they were so hands off and really didn't care how things were being run. They gave me the ability and the insight to truly say, I want to make a change within this community because it's so broken that we allow outside nonprofits come in and make money off of our community, but then give back as much as they probably should have. And I give them kudos to that. I did learn something from them, is how to conduct myself and express what I wanted to do within the community.
But you were proactive.
Oh yeah.
Like if it was anyone else.
Yeah.
And like I said, there was like a hands-off person, nothing would have been done.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like the fact that there was some hands-off, it taught me to be the way I am now. Like I was able to go out there and say, this is broken. How can I fix it? And yeah, maybe I did some things I shouldn't have done. But it was sort of very good for the community. Though. Hey, we need to figure out how to make more money. I was like, you're a nonprofit. Like we're put here to help the community. So let me figure this out. So yeah, I worked mad hours, but it taught me like we need more people like me in the community doing it for the people. And that's the thing, is like not enough people do for the people. And People always say, like, oh, you don't want to do that because you want to help Blacks enter tech. No, I want to help people enter tech because I know that technology can help save. It saved my life. It made me to who I am. If it wasn't for technology, I'd be unemployed right now, like a lot of people. But because of technology, I'm building a gateway, or actually a new doorway to Asgard, so that
Yeah.
people can actually enter technology. And I'm like, this is my purpose. Like, and it took me 27 years. Like, serving the military was cool. It took me 27 years to truly find what my purpose is. And one thing I think I spoke with the bunker leadership today, and they asked me, what makes you happy? What do you love doing? I love helping people. Like, I don't have to make millions of dollars to helping people. I don't want to be one of those people like, I'm gonna charge you. I'm a guru. I'm gonna charge you all this money to be successful. No, I want to help people because at the end of the day, when I'm old, but I'm a household name, I'm gonna have people like, oh, Mario's sick. I'm gonna take him chicken noodle soup, but I'm about to go catch a chicken. I'm gonna butcher it. I'm gonna make the noodles from scratch because I've been helping people my whole life, and that's worth more to me than anything. I still want to retire when I'm 40, but if I can retire and take all my savings and go to the Dominican Republic and live for the rest of my life there because I made just $1 million converts over and I'm like super rich, I'm good. I think when people start their businesses, like I said, knowing what they're passionate.
You said it took you 27 years to find your purpose.
Yeah. So from the day I was born to when I hit 27,
so long, man.
I entered the military, and
Yeah.
the purpose there is they were already telling me what my purpose was. But when I took back my freedom of being able to think freely is when I discovered what I truly wanted to do. And once again, I think the military made me who I am today with how I think, how both who I am and the decisions I make. But they never gave me the ability to think for myself and truly be the leader I consider myself to be.
For the people that didn't attend military, what's your advice for them to get that feeling or sense that you've had? Or is there something that you feel like all civilians should at least experience once?
Experience once. Waking up at 4 o'clock, no matter what the temperature is, and going out and running in shorts and t-shirt. I just play. So what people don't know, like, people say I'm smart all the time. When I went to tech school, I failed my test. Like, I didn't pass my written test, and I had to retake it again. Same thing when I got into knowledge operations management, I failed my test again. And I had a supervisor, Sergeant Smelts, Master Sergeant Smelts, I will never forget her. She made me come into work every morning at 6 o'clock to study. And at the time, I was young. I was like, what am I doing this for? This sucks. But now I think back, like, she has been more of a mentor and looking out for that. And I think in the military is a close-knit community where people actually look out for you, whether you want to accept it or not, because most people enter the military are young, so they want to rebel. But people are truly looking out for you in your career because that's their job. Someone did it from them and they want to keep going. So there's tradition with that. If you haven't had a mentor that wanted to get you up at 5 o'clock in the morning to help you achieve a goal, you might want to get that. You might want to find the right person for that.
Find someone to force you to do things that you don't want to do, but
because that guidance and mentorship, like, you look at CodeLegion, we are set up to help people, right? No matter what. And that's something that's instilled in me. And even when Matt, he found me in the corner as a little lost puppy, like, I want to enter, he made that possible for me. Like, he could have said, no, I don't want to be your friend. He would tell you that if he was here today, he'd be like, man, I didn't want to like this dude. He didn't give me a choice. Like, that's how proactive and persistent I am. But now we're like the best of friends. Like, we started a business together. When I got that money, they're like, oh, make sure you find who. I was like, I already knew who my co-founder was going to be. There was no hands down because my entryway into tech was him. And that was values from the military. Like, you want to help everyone. And if you have not had that, like, just go help people just because you can. Go out to community center, go out, like, foster care is in every state. Like, just go find someone to mentor and help change your lives. And once you experience that, you're like, man, this is the best in the world. How more? And I think if we had more people that thought like that, or they entered the military before they were too old, they put 20 years in and they're burnt out. I was fortunate. I got hurt. I was fortunate to find a different pathway that allowed me to be this age and still help people. But if we have more people doing that, this world will be such like
Yeah.
a beautiful place.
And what I love about this culture of give first that you see in these entrepreneurial communities, damn, you just downed that.
There we go. Follow up.
Okay, so a friend reminded me that I can't drink 2 to 3 times a week. So Tea Time Tuesdays, we're gonna do water Wednesdays. Next time I do my interview. Yeah, what was I saying? Something about you being great. No, give first was things would happen unexpectedly whenever you just think of how can I support my community. People will listen to you. People will give you a check for $250,000. And some of these things just happen. And you're right. I think the more selfless I became, tons of opportunities like came up because of it. And I think that's why I enjoy helping other people, because I'm not expecting anything in return. But what I found that I got in return is I met a lot of amazing people. I met people who are working on really cool things that invited me to be part of their journey. And I get so much fulfillment in being friends with them and learning from them. And I know that in the future, this knowledge and this network and the things that I've been doing for my community and for my friends is going to pay back and dividends in the future. So I think that's great, Mario. I'll definitely vote for you if I'm in Vegas in 2024.
You can move out here for at least 6 months. You know, that's it.
I'll just buy a house there. Here's what I'll do. I'll start a business to the point where for some reason I'll have a house in Vegas for 6 months. Somehow I'll record it as my primary residence just to vote for you.
We're breaking all kinds of laws, and now they're gonna be checking. They're like, this dude, he won. We heard him on a podcast, and he had
hey, voter fraud is right here. Here's the proof. It's this guy YJ who voted for me, but is he actually living in that house? No, I'll probably do another podcast show. Hey guys, just to show everyone I'm actually living here.
Now we work with Mario. Hey, what's going on? Yeah. One thing about you too, YJ, is I think after we met, that I added you on LinkedIn, then like stop for that. One thing about you is like you did the same thing. I was like, hey, what's going on, man? Then we just reconnected. It's like we never stopped talking. Envy your youth, man. One thing about it,
man, you don't even look that old, man. Stop.
Like, at least I don't look that old, but I am that old. And I got 4 kids, so I'm actually double my age. But like, if I can go back in time, people are like, oh, would you go back and join the military all over again? I'm like, 9 out of 10 I would. And if I was your age, I'd be trying to go and do this whole Space Force thing, because if you look at it, everything about them is going to be like technology oriented. And I tell people, I just had a conversation with this guy, Nick. He's trying to become an officer. He's down in Alabama. And like, he was actually my first ever podcast. I didn't feel like I was worthy. And I was an employee at the time. You're my first ever podcast as a CEO, being like an actual entrepreneur. But I spoke with him yesterday. We caught up. And I find out, even at 29, I have lots of wisdom. He's trying to join the reserve. Don't do that, man. Join the Guard. The Guard will literally pay for your in-state tuition. You trying to get a master's, right? Think about, make wise decisions. The reserve is cool, but I'm like, if you're trying to go to school, do the Guard. And there's some jobs are the same. Look out, do your research when you do certain things. And I become this big advocate. You want to go in the military, that's cool, but if we're young, make sure you make wise decisions. Like, don't listen to my granddad. He passed away back in December, World War II vet. But the opportunities I have today and the options I have, he never had. So I always look back, and if I could go back and change anything, I want to change how like veterans from his era, you know, how they're treated, and how the opportunities that I have, I wish he had. Because I think if he had those opportunities, my opportunities been a little bit better. But he would have been sticking out for me. Hey, that'd be my go-to. And so I now try to help more people transition into the military, because I didn't have that guidance. And like you said, helping people, like your job day in, day out, and what you do with this podcast is helping people. Like, I don't know how many people are watching right now. Yeah, it helped me. Like, I got the itch. Like, I'm about to go home and order me some equipment. I'm about to start my own podcast.
Do it.
Just give me another reason to drink. That's it.
No, for sure. Give me a reason to drink. Can you start something else? Because I don't know, because I don't drink. and I'm picking up a bad habit from this. No, I'm great. I'm great. I did this for one of my friends recently reached out, and I'm really grateful for Anthony, and because of it, I'm grateful for all of Bunker Labs. It's like I've just put all of you guys together. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe the cool people. There's some other people. Anyways, what was I saying? There's a guy. Huh?
My go-to to you. So while we're live, like I said, you guys are watching, is I'm gonna get you a few more people from Bunker. So
yeah.
And then if you let me come on, just so I can drink and be like, hey, I'm here. Just give me no reason to drink. But my goal to you is to get you, like, you give me a number, and I'm gonna try to get you that many businesses onto your podcast.
We can do it together, Mario. So we can use this as an excuse to get them drunk and share us their business secrets, or just talk about stuff.
There's two. Look at that. So yeah, like I said, that's because once again, I love that you're doing this, and I think it helps bring out like the inner, like the more you talk about why you're doing something, like the more like you believe it, but you become believing it more because you don't know how many people this is going to reach. You're actually owning whatever it is, and it shows your passion behind it. If you take a podcast, like I want to go talk about my business on a podcast, you're owning that. Like you truly believe in what you're doing. And I think
it's a great reminder for ourselves, because you find yourself talking about things in which are like, man, when was the last time I was able to vocalize my purpose and tell the world that this is what I'm doing? And it's a reminder to yourself that, hey, I'm doing this for a higher purpose.
It also takes you back to, why did I start this? A lot of people, they get in, money changes people, right? Like,
and you forget.
I got $5 million. And then you start focusing on getting more money, and you forget why you initially started something. So this is another way to get people back in touch with their roots and remind them you're on the air. Like, you started this because of what? Is that what you're doing now? Oh, it's not. Like, and the perfect example of that, we had our meeting with our investor yesterday. And this is a guy, his name's Vi. He's normally real quiet on our calls. Me and Matt were up on there and we listened to him. He actually like reunited why we truly started. We just started this. We're looking to get more funding, and we become greedy because we're looking to create jobs. But he said, hey, don't lose sight of your focus. The older guy, I think he's our meeting as well. Don't lose yourself. You guys have a really good concept. And I'm like, oh man, this is like wisdom from Yoda. Like, giving us these tokens that we never should, like, you know, like we're focused on building out, but have a reminder. And me and Matt, we spoke, he gave us wisdom, and like we need to rethink our approach of things. Like we went back and rethought our approach, and we're like, we're gonna do this because this is why we originally, when we didn't have anything, this is what we're talking about. So I just find it cool, like, to have people go back and think what happened when you first had this idea and you worked all the way up to it, and you got funding. Are you going to change? So these are perfect reminders. Like, I'm sitting talking to you, man, I'm happy me and Matt spoke about this yesterday. Really make sure we hit our thing and not worry about the money. It's crazy to say I got 4 kids. I should worry about the money, but I'm not, because I'm happy. So
that's great, Mario. So before we end it, one thing I've always definitely liked to ask, why should people reach out to you, Mario? What kinds of people should be reaching out to you, Mario? And what people do you want them to reach out to you?
So I'm on people.
3 times. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think you had the same question 3 times. But hey, I'm a person. I love people. I talk to anybody, everybody. I think everyone can help everyone one way or another. Whether you're doing, like, you could be knitting sweaters for old people. I guarantee you, I could find some old people that can use sweaters, right? So, like, I love connecting with people. I'm a networker. I'm a social butterfly. Anyone that knows me would tell you, hey, Mario, that's his superpower, is connecting with people. So I want anyone to reach out to me, really, to talk about anything, really. But if you like bourbon, that's even better, because then we can have a chat by sipping on whatever. If you want to reach out to me, here's my phone number. I'm just playing. So because I said earlier on, I like LinkedIn or Twitter, right? Mario D. Mitchell on Twitter, or LinkedIn is just Mario Mitchell. I'm a big fan of, I'm trying to really grow those platforms, because I've found that when it comes time to connect people with other people, it's easy to share a Twitter handle or LinkedIn profile, compared to trying to do these weird random, hey, here's someone, I'm gonna do an invite in the email, or here's some phone numbers. So if you want to connect me, that's always the best way. Especially, hey, I heard you from the podcast. I'm like, dope. That just means that why these podcasts is doing this thing right now. But yeah, like, I want to connect with anybody and everybody. You want to talk about technology, or even, I love hearing new ideas. Like, no way, shape, form, I'm an investor, but I love ideas because I'm also a go-getter. So I'm like, I have a lot of conversations with people that maybe they help out. So I love connecting people with other people. I just love making new friends.
So if anyone's interested, one, if you're going to Vegas or if you live in Vegas, Mario needs votes. But second, if you are going to Vegas, you check out WeWork and the bunker and the stuff that they're doing at BunkerLabs. Definitely connect with Mario. And if you're ADD and trying to figure out what to do with your life, so connect with Mario. If you need help with something, connect with Mario.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure I put your LinkedIn. And he's fast to respond from personal experience. I think a lot of people are. A lot of people are using LinkedIn. Facebook and LinkedIn are pretty much the same thing to me at this point. Oh, really?
Facebook's for my youngin' days where you go see people, they post their life stories, but on LinkedIn, you learn. I think a lot of LinkedIn posts like wisdom all over again. Oh, I like this. And I'm starting to share. Like, I see a lot of Black unicorns sprouting up. I don't know if you can say this. I can't say it. Candidly.
Calendly? Candid?
The calendar.
Oh, Calendly. It's a Black CEO. Yeah.
They just raised $350 million.
Dude, that was awesome, man.
I saw that on LinkedIn. I would never seen it on Facebook. So I love LinkedIn because it inspires me what I can be as a Black founder. So yeah. And that's why I wake up and start my days with LinkedIn because I always see something positive and it sets me out. And yeah. And YJ, since you're so cool, I'm gonna just throw it out there. Hey, Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, if you're seeing this, I would love to hit you up. Same thing, Ruben Harris from Career Karma. Once again, I've been trying to connect me forever, man, on LinkedIn. Hit me up. But they're making waves and motivating and inspiring people to become entrepreneurs, Eric Thomas. And then Ruben Harris is doing the same thing with Career Karma, helping people break into tech, which he started on the podcast. So that's why I think YJ is going to be out here making millions and millions of dollars.
Man. No, I doubt it. I'm going to go broke doing all these things.
You might develop a slight drinking problem if you book
maybe
a week.
No, I definitely need to figure out how to tone it down. I know it's still on brand if I'm drinking tea because we're drinking.
I had a plan of getting an empty bottle and putting tea in it until I was drinking this. Unfortunately, I didn't.
Oh man, I should do that. I'll just cut this part out because I feel like everyone's gonna find out.
But yeah, I said that. I told my wife, so this is a new bottle.
After episode 4, all he's drinking is actually water.
I only dropped this much, so it's up to about here. So I only dropped this much, so I did really well today.
All right, Mario, it's a pleasure meeting you. I'm gonna edit this and make sure I have all your contact information, put that stuff on there. But always great catching up with you. As far as who should we bring on board next time, anyone, man. I'm pretty free, flexible.
So everyone heard him that's watching this as he said we can do this together. So you don't see him on the next one. He booted me.
No, I keep asking Anthony if he wants to jump, but he's too busy for me. I'm kidding. He's running his own thing.
Yeah, because I'm 2 hours behind you, so it works out for me.
Sounds good, man. You have a great day, and I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, talk to you later.
Thanks, Mario.